Live from Atlanta, Georgia, it's the Zach Ballinger Show, where we help you find your direction through passion and purpose. My name is Zach Ballinger. I am your host. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We have a special guest. Before we get into that, if you have any questions during the broadcast, please enter them into the comment section. We'll make sure to get to them always before any of the shows. You can email me, zach@zachballinger.com. We'll make sure to ask our guests any of those questions that you have. Without further ado, David, thank you so much for joining the show today.
Thank you so much, Jack. I'm so excited to be here.
So, David, let's jump right in here. What is your exact career title? What do you do for a living?
Yeah, so I am a co-founder of a company called Viral Ideas. We have a product called Flixation, and I've been an entrepreneur since I was 16. So I've been starting businesses, building businesses since I was a young kid.
And so, what was your background? Video production? Because I'm assuming the Viral Creations is a video business, correct? For businesses that you create?
Yeah, Viral Ideas is a video production company, and really my background more is in entrepreneurship than in video creation. I had worked on a business in college, and one of the main ways we grew it was through video production. So we spun this out as more of a service that we knew worked well for us for the product that we had while I was in school, and have been doing it ever since then.
Now, how long have you owned this particular business?
I've owned this business with my business partner for 5 years, so we've been at it quite a long time. We're over that. I guess to say after that 5-year hump, you're in the clear. So we're past that. We're past that little hump point of doing what we need to do to get set up.
What are you passionate about? What do you love about your job?
Yeah, so to me, what I love most about what we do is just on a personal level, the freedom that comes with it, right? So I have flexibility in the way I work, but I also love kind of building out a culture within what we do, and being able to surround myself with a group of awesome people. I get to pick everyone that comes into the company, right? So I get to kind of pick and choose the awesome minds that I get to be around every single day. So I love that aspect of it and that freedom that comes with what we do.
And on the flip side, this might be a hard question for some others. It's pretty easy. What don't you like about your job, or what's difficult that people should know?
Yeah, so I actually have something that is really kind of easy for me to answer. I'm not the best day-to-day manager of a business. So my business partner, along with the team, they manage our whole team, and I actually have no one report into me. So for me, I know what I'm good at. I'm good at strategy. I'm good at sales. I'm good at business, the business side of things, numbers and whatnot. But when it comes to managing a group of people, it's not my forte. So on a day-to-day basis. So I'm driving kind of a lot of the strategy and direction, but in terms of day-to-day management of people, it's just not my strong suit. So don't love doing that. And I would definitely say I'm probably the most laissez-faire manager you'll ever meet. I'm pretty hands-off with people.
And then what's your educational background? Did you get a degree in business, or what did that look like?
Yeah, so I actually started out in community college. So Zach, it's something that I really recommend for anyone that's looking at school to do. 2 years. At the time, I knew how much at the time that my parents were generous enough to, my family was generous enough to give to me for college. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go get my associates in business, knock out those prereq classes, and I wasn't always the best with school either. So I did that. I worked and I cash flowed those first 2 years. And then I went away to Temple University and finished out with a degree in entrepreneurship and marketing. So I highly recommend that path to people that to do that, because it's, number one, the cost savings are there, and you get the same exact education that you're going to get going away to school for 4 years, for a fraction of the price.
I spent a lot of time before the pandemic, especially traveling around to high schools and colleges. And I made this point, and we're going off a script a little bit, but I want to touch on what you said. You said that you highly recommend the path you went down, which was a 2-year community college degree. There's nothing wrong with that at all. In fact, a lot of people that I've interviewed over the course of my lifetime have done that pathway, especially if you're limited on your finances. And we've got this whole misconception in our society that, yeah, I'm getting ready to go on a soapbox, that you have to go to get a 4-year degree automatically. And it's just simply not true. Most of your 2-year coursework are entry level, your math, your basic Englishes that you can do anywhere at any time. And so a lot of people, they don't, kids, I think it's hard for them because they want to jump, which I was the same way. Obviously, I have a T on my chest, so I went to the University of Tennessee. And so it's hard for me to speak out of that term. But I love that you said you highly recommend that path. Now, how did that, were you able to graduate debt free or not much debt? And did that help your career? How do you think that kind of catapulted you into the marketplace?
Yeah. So let me walk you through it. So I started out, I've been running businesses while I was in high school, right? So I got to community college and I was still running my business and doing my thing there. So I was still working, I was still making money. I knew what I could afford, right? And I knew what my family had. So I kind of did the math on it. I was like, okay, if I do the 2-year community and I do 2 years at Temple, I'll graduate debt free. So I graduated debt free, which, and then for a year or two was able to move back in at home to start my business. So I graduated debt free. I had like no expenses coming out of school and I was able to start a business. So I was able to do exactly what I wanted, exactly what I wanted to do directly out of school, go right into the exact path I wanted without worrying about, big student loan payments or, a liability. It's really a luxury that I know not a lot of people have, but, I kind of set myself up for it because I knew what I could do for college, right? I knew what was there, and I knew that those first 2 years, really just kind of allowed me to use the budget I had in the most wise way.
I love that advice. I was talking to a college student a couple of months ago who was deciding between UCLA and a college right here in Georgia. And Georgia offers a scholarship program where you can get your school for free if you make it over a certain amount of GPA. And I said, well, why would you go to UCLA for $150,000 for an English degree when you could get it done right here in Georgia? And, I think it comes down to a lot of that campus life and the stuff that, if you have that budget, it's okay. I'm not against that at all, but it's just that, if you come up from like you said, if you have to cash flow school, you're putting yourself at a major disadvantage by doing that. So let's move on here. Did you talked about, what you liked and what you disliked about your job. Walk me through what happens during a typical day. I know for everybody that's so hard because that changes every day. But let's say, David gets out of bed in the morning and David goes at night. What do you do work-wise during the day?
Yeah. So, I always start my day with a workout. I'm also like an endurance athlete as well. I do Ironmans and crazy endurance stunts as like a side fun hobby. So I'm always, get up, I work out usually. And then usually my day's pretty relaxed, right? Like I used to in the beginning of my business, stack every minute up. I felt like I had to if my calendar wasn't full, I wasn't achieving what I needed to achieve. But these days I try to limit my schedule to either 4 or 5 meetings a day. I try to keep them to a half hour each. And most of them are just sales meetings. And then, I'll spend the time in between, looking in and seeing what projects we're working on, contacting customers, seeing how everything's going with them, just really spending a lot of time just focusing on where can we sell to next and, figuring out like where our products are best suited, networking, stuff like that. So I just kind of keep my days very free flowing. I get a lot of emails. So like, I usually 3 times a day will answer my email in like clusters, but I don't really keep like a really strict schedule. Like if I have to go somewhere, I go there. And it's a big change from what I used to do. I used to every single minute of the day was just do, but now it's more, purposely do like a few tasks a day that make the most impact, and the rest really just don't matter. So
thanks Yeah, thanks for walking me through that. Now, how you talked about your passion for business? How did you know you kind of alluded to that you've always had built businesses and that's something you enjoyed. What age did that start, and how did you know you had the ability to do this?
Yeah, well, I didn't. I kind of, it was something where I just fell into it, and I fell into it with an opportunity that kind of rose out of a passion. And a friend of mine came to me with an opportunity when we were young, and we just put together basically a half marathon in a park, and it ended up turning into a business that lasted 6 years. So really, it was figuring it out by accident and just surrounding myself with great mentors and doing a lot of reading. Like when I first started, I bought every single possible business book I could. Like I just Googled business books. I would buy every top 10 list, and I would read through every single one I could. And then also contacting different business leaders, using the advantage I had as a college student, where I was like, okay, well, what are my advantages as a college student? People will probably take an appointment with me to just pick their brain versus, now if I want to pick someone's brain, they're like, what the hell do you want from me? So, I used that advantage back then and just met people, studied up as much as I could, and just really just learned the craft as much as I could. So it's not something that really, yes, it came naturally, but it also came with a lot of work to get to the point where I could run a business successfully.
In my new book, Don't Be a Zombie, How to Find a Career You Love, I devote a chapter on the power of nonfiction books. And there's a study that was released by self-made millionaires of 10,000 millionaires in North America who had made it on their own on that type of income. Basically, they started from nothing. The average read 4 nonfiction books a month. And
Wow.
so, the value and the knowledge in books, we forget that sometimes. And so I'm glad you alluded to that you basically spent your time learning the craft, and there's a lot of great books on any topic that you want to get better on out there. So
Yeah.
I like that answer. That's really good. Now let's take you back in time. You're growing up in elementary school, and we put you in a time machine. We take you back to third, fourth, fifth grade. Did you have a dream career that you always wanted to do?
Yeah. So actually, I wanted to be a doctor or a physical therapist back then. So just for some reason, like that's what I wanted to do. I was like fascinated with the medical stuff. And what happened was I took one biology class and one anatomy class. And I'm like, like, wow, like this is horrible. Like I have to learn all these like complicated topics. No one knows what I'm saying. Like there's like nothing exciting about this to me. Um, and then I just kind of looked at the career path of a doctor or a physical therapist, and I realized there's no time freedom. Like you are essentially just a highly paid worker. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the career. Like my dad does it. It's I have tons of family that's in medicine, but it just for me time freedom is very important. So eventually I just kind of that dream just kind of fizzled out, and new ones came into practice.
Let's talk about your specific business. What do you do, and how do you differentiate yourself from other customers? So let's say I'm a business out there that looking for a video production company. Why should they pick you? What do you do different, and what do you do for their specific business?
So we actually have two sides to our business. So on the viral ideas side, we always have to say we are building content for the future. So what we do differently is we're constantly looking at where is content going to be at the end of this year, at the end of next year, at the end of 5 years from now, and how can we together build unique content for that. So we've kind of built our whole business around building content for the modern world. We exclusively do video, and video comes in 2D, 3D animation, and video production as well. And then we also build a whole platform that allows small businesses and big businesses too to customize videos for their website. So we have tons and tons of templates where they can just buy videos for a fraction of the cost. So we built out that platform this year. We're actually fully launching it. I don't know when this video is going to be live. We're fully launching it today to everyone. We built it out, towards the back half of 2020. So we're excited about that as well. But yeah, that's what we do, and that's what we do different in the market.
And I have a lot of people out there either trying to their own businesses, or I encourage people to do that if that's a passion of theirs. Do you work with small businesses? And let's say that is the idea, and I'm trying to get because I'm very ignorant to this kind of stuff. So is the idea to try to get as many clicks so their businesses get noticed? And do you help small businesses in that way, or how is that? How does that work?
So we help on the content side. So what that means is, we provide the assets that allow people to show off what they do. So, we use a model called awareness, consideration, decision to build videos for each stage of that marketing funnel. Awareness, when people come and they see that you exist. So consideration, someone considering what you do. And then decision, someone deciding to work with you. In terms of the end output, our end output is an actual video for someone. And then we work with a lot of different agency partners that'll get it out there for people.
Gotcha. And so I did want to get to some of these questions because we did have some that came in overnight from people. So one of the students writes in and they say that I'm a senior in high school. I know I want to own my own business. That's something that I'm passionate about. Do I have to go to a 4-year school?
So I don't want to be the one responsible for talking you out of college, but no, the answer is no. I went to community college. I was running a business at the time. To be frank, I probably would have made more money and started earlier if I just didn't go to school. I'm not going to say I didn't learn something in school. I'm not going to say I didn't get something valuable out of it. But for me personally, in what I'm doing with my business, there really was no need for a degree. I read a lot. That doesn't mean like I was absolved from education. I think there's like a important distinction. Like you can't not go to school and not educate yourself. Like you have to somehow find a way to education. But school doesn't, like it's 2020. You can find anything you want on the internet. And with enough research and, moving yourself in the right direction, you can get to the point where you become an expert on a topic. So you don't have to if you don't want to. But, one thing I would probably tell people is try not to get into debt if you're going to go to school, or try to minimize it, try to keep it under like 15,000 if you're going to do it, because coming out with that monthly payment is a burden, and you're like going to be desperate and want to find whatever you can instead of following your passion.
Yeah, and I think what you did, as I like it, is you worked actually your business on the side while you got your degree. And if you're not really sure about your business, or it doesn't work, or something happens in those 3 years, let's say it doesn't make it, you have your degree to fall back on, or you start at a slower pace instead of jumping right in. And you know how that can be kind of scary if you're not making revenue right away. So I like that answer. But definitely, like you said, not everybody. My father never even graduated from the 8th grade. So, and he's been in the restaurant business 43 years. So you're exactly right into your answer, and that was good to help. And the next question comes in is, I want to major in business, but I don't know what function to pick. How should I go about choosing this process?
That's a tough one. I mean, there's a lot of different specialties in there. So, I mean, I'm curious your thoughts on this too, but I would say you want to just reach out to different fields that interest you. And by fields that interest you, I mean, when you think about like take a blank sheet of paper and write down things that you could spend an entire day doing without, thinking twice. And, hopefully that answer is not like drinking or something like that. But, you want to go in and you want to write down like, I like riding my bike. I like, I like swimming. I like, karate, whatever it is. And go and see what the different players are in that industry. So like, let's say cycling, for example, maybe you look at Trek Bikes, Cannondale Bikes, Bike Shop, and go look and, call up some of these companies and ask them, what are the different jobs in here? And, what are the different career paths that I can go down? And maybe ask if you can come in and interview one of the people that is in some of those jobs and see if it's something that sounds exciting to you. I think one of the biggest mistakes I see people make, and I'm just speaking from my peers, right, is they go into college, they start to get into what they declared their major in, right? They're 18, 17 years old. They declare some major. They have no idea what the major actually means, and they get 2 years in, they're $40,000 in the hole, and they're like, oh, I want to change my major, and that extends another 2 years, another 20 grand, 40 grand in debt a lot of the times, and you're kind of just bouncing around. So you should really, like, you are making, at the end of the day, you are making a $20,000 a year, sometimes $15,000 a year, sometimes $10,000 a year decision, which is the largest financial decision you've ever made, is what path to go on your degree. So it's not a joke picking what you want to pick. So I think you're smart in being thoughtful about it. So I think it's important to just taste those different areas before you actually commit to getting a degree in that area, because you want to make sure it's something you like up front.
Yeah, and that's the whole vision for this show is to expose as many careers as I can and for people to learn about careers. Because like you said, I was the same way. I went to college. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I got thrown into the business school, thought I was going to be in logistics. Well, I didn't even know what that meant. And so I took the one class and I was like, there's no way. Then accounting, and then I just kind of fumbled through all of them and didn't even know what I wanted to do. One advice I would give for the student: visit your career center. There's career coaches that are certified that can help you. Like you said, I liked your idea about writing down what you're good at, and that's called a strength finder assessment to understand your abilities. And a lot of times these career centers can link them into particular fields. Whether you're good at analytics, you might be good in the accounting field, or you might be, like me and you, like in the marketing field where we like that, or the sales type roles. So definitely you got great advice there. And I think you said something that nobody does, reach out to people. That's the toughest thing for the new generation to do, even via LinkedIn. It's we got a question actually in the queue. How do I get up enough gumption to reach out to somebody on LinkedIn? And for me and you, I think it comes kind of naturally. We just naturally, who cares if they don't say no or not, they ignore us. But, taking into people's consideration, it is a scary thing if you've never done that before. So how do you overcome that fear of reaching out to somebody that you don't know?
Yeah. So I'll give you kind of a couple pieces of advice on this, because I probably reached out to, when I was in college, I probably reached out to over 100 different business leaders. And I didn't track it exactly, but I probably ended up with, probably 70 to 80 different appointments. So the success rate was pretty high. And what I would do is I would be like, hey, Zach, right? I love what you're doing. I'm a college student. I go to this school. Would it be okay if we just got on the phone and I asked you a couple questions about what you're doing? And I can tell you, as someone who's now on the opposite end of that, if any college student ever does that to me, and some of them do occasionally, I say yes, because I'm always wanting to help someone that's coming up. And the idea that you're a college student, you're just trying to learn, you're really not trying to get anything out of it. 10 minutes of time is not a lot to ask of someone. So, make sure the key with it to build that good relationship is to come in with having researched the person, watching a couple of their videos that they've been on, spend some time on their LinkedIn, look at their company, and come up with really, 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 really good questions. Not like, what do you like about your job? Come up with a question of like, how did your passion drive you to start this company? Or like something that's like a deeper question about what they do, or where do you see the industry going? Stuff like that. And you'll find that people will just talk to you about what they're doing, and you'll learn so much about what they do, and then ask them for advice and see what they tell you, and you'll get some great advice. and then follow up with them, send them a thank you card, like handwritten in the mail. And now you're going to have a relationship. So when you come out of school, you're going to have, if you do one of these a week, set a goal, you do one appointment a week, you're going to come out with, let's say school's 16 weeks, 32 weeks for the year. So you're going to come out with 120 people for the year that you have that are, and you keep a list of them. You have 120 people that when you graduate college, there's your potential career path. Not like you're looking to get anything out of it, but they'll remember you. So now you have a whole network that you've built in college. So at the end of the day, you can go to that big fancy school that costs $125,000 a year, but it means nothing when you go out to get a job. It's about who you know.
And it's right on. The whole networking thing, that's key. And I don't care what you're doing, is the key in everything. That's what I preach on and speak on is LinkedIn. And it's just it's been an incredible tool. The next question says, I lack the capital to start up my business. What are the ways to get some seed money to get going?
So did I. I started my business with $250. So it's a bad excuse. If you want to do it, you'll get creative, right? So luckily I was in the service business. So, if you're in another business, it could be a little tougher. But if you lack the capital, my suggestion would be either try to find some customers that could pay you up front if you're doing a service business and then you're in business. If you need some capital to start, go get a job and stack up some capital. I know that's not conventional advice, but in my opinion, I'm someone who doesn't like to rely on, some guy to tell me yes in order to invest in my business. So we started bootstrapped, and now, we did raise a little bit of money, but it was easy. When we're 4 years in the business, we have a proven track record. It was easy to raise money. So my suggestion would be, get a business plan going where you could stack up some cash, go get a job, live on nothing for a little bit. You have a little bit of money, whatever you need to start the business. Fortunately, if you're looking to start a business, there's going to be, unfortunately, some carnage after this whole COVID thing blows over, which means that there's going to be a lot of businesses that could be bought for, 20, 30 cents on the dollar. So if you stack up a little bit of cash, you could buy a little business for, $10,000, and $10,000 working at for 15, $20 an hour, you could stack that up in 4 months.
The reason I laugh is because it's common sense, and we've drifted so far away from that. And I think even people in my age, which I'm almost 40 years old, they don't, they ask me all the time, well, where do I get the capital? I'm like, well, you can get a job. And they're like, a job? And, so I think, a lot of people, that's what I encourage people to do an entry-level job until they get to their dreams, or like you said, pile up cash. And if your passion's business, let's get a plan. Let's not wait on somebody to be a seed investor or an angel investor and sit at the house and watch Netflix all day. Let's get out there and make it happen, and do 3 jobs, and you get there a little quicker and to get to your eventual dream. David, this has been a real pleasure. I think we share a lot of the same values and beliefs and ideas. Certainly got me going on a few topics that I didn't think I would get going on today, but we certainly appreciate it. I think you've really helped the audience too by their participation and the questions. We know you're a very busy entrepreneur, and we do appreciate your time. Now, where can people go? Is there a website? Do you have a social media that people can follow? What does that look like?
Yeah, sure. So for business, I have viralideasmarketing.com and flixation.co. And then, if someone wants to get in touch, if they have further questions, if they want to reach out, if you just type my name in any of the social medias, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and, do a question there, it's not going to bother me if you reach out on social. So, that's another place. But if for all business stuff, just reach out through Viral Ideas and Flixation.
And guys, you're always asking me who's my first connection on LinkedIn. I always say me, but David just gave you another one. So there you go. You've got 2, and you guys can work off that. So thank you again, David. Everyone take care until the next show. Have a great day.